The loan officer slid the final folder toward me, her voice warm and practiced. Kara, that is it. You are officially a homeowner. The words should have felt bigger. Instead, they sank into the quiet room like stones. I murmured a thank you and glanced at the waiting area again, hoping something had changed in the last few minutes. 4 chairs, 4 empty chairs. They sat lined up against the wall like witnesses who refused to show up. I had imagined my father leaning back with that proud but not really proud grin he used when Tyler scored a single goal in his little league days. I had pictured my mother fiddling with her purse straps, pretending she understood loan terms. I had even imagined Tyler rolling his eyes but still showing up for the photos. None of them came. Bree, my coworker turned accidental maid of honor for this moment, lifted her phone. At least give me a smile, she said softly. You worked for this. Years. I know. I said, just processing. She lowered the phone slightly. You told them the time. Write 3 reminders. And they ignored all 3 busy day. I guess. My voice sounded weightless, like it belonged to someone else. Bree hesitated, then stepped back so she could catch the whole moment in one shot. Say new beginnings. I forced a smile. New beginnings. The flash went off. It felt like the only light in the room. Outside, she hugged me in the parking lot. Do not let anyone take this away from you. I will not. I lied. She drove off, and I headed home alone. The moment I shut my apartment door behind me, the silence hit like a slap. I set my keys on the counter and pulled out my phone, half expecting a late message from my parents, maybe even a half-hearted apology for missing everything. One notification waited. It was from my father. Send $40,000 so Tyler can get the new F-150. He cannot fall behind. No congratulations, no acknowledgement, just an invoice disguised as a sentence. My chest tightened hard enough to blur my vision. Then something inside me, a small, tired voice I had ignored for years, spoke clearly. Enough. I opened my banking app, typed in $1, and added a note for gas. When I hit send, my hands stopped shaking. The room felt heavier and freer at the same time. I stared at the door for a long moment, then reached for my phone again. A locksmith picked up on the second ring. How soon do you need it? He asked. Tonight? When he finished installing the new deadbolt, he tested it twice, making sure it caught cleanly. This one will hold, he said. I need it to. After he left, I locked the door again just to hear the sound. Solid, certain. The first boundary I had ever set for myself. I leaned my head against the cool surface and breathed. For years, I had waited for my family to choose me, but the truth was simple and sharp. They only chose what I could give them. If you have ever had to build something alone, if you have ever had your biggest moments ignored or overshadowed, follow this story all the way through. You deserve to know what comes next, because everything shifted the moment that lock clicked shut. The morning after the closing, I stood in my kitchen holding a mug that had gone lukewarm in my hands. Sleep refused to settle, circling me like an argument waiting to happen. I kept replaying my father's text, the blunt entitlement of it, the way it erased everything I had achieved in a single sentence. It pulled me backward, years backward. I was 16 the first time I understood what family sacrifice meant in the Whitman house. My mother had picked me up from school and handed me a time card instead of a snack. You will start at Maple and Fifth Auto Parts today, she said, adjusting the rearview mirror. Just a few hours after school. I had blinked at her. I thought you said I could try out for choir. We need to be practical. Her tone left no space for dreams. Your brother has a future. Tutors, equipment, registration fees. It all adds up. I remembered sitting in the passenger seat, staring at the time card like it was a verdict. When we pulled into the driveway, my father was oiling Tyler's new baseball glove. He barely looked up. Good timing. Kara, he said, your paycheck will help cover his spring league. My paycheck, I had stepped closer. I have not even started yet. He sighed at me, like I was being difficult. Family invests in the future. Tyler is our best shot. That became the script for the next several years. Whenever I tried to breathe, the script tightened. When I was 17, I asked if I could save part of my wages for a dress for senior prom. My mother shook her head. Your brother needs cleats. He grows so fast. Tyler strolled into the kitchen, grabbed a soda, and said, "Thanks, Kara," without looking at me. It stung more than if he had said nothing. On my 18th birthday, I worked a double shift because Tyler's Gulf Shores trip came up unexpectedly. My father patted my shoulder proudly. "This is what being a team player looks like. A team player." That was all I was to them. Not a daughter, not a person with goals of her own. Back in the present, I set the mug down too hard and it rattled against the counter. The sound jolted me. I heard my own voice say aloud, "No more." Saying it didn't magically fix anything, but it drew a line across the kitchen tile, a line I had never allowed myself to draw. My phone buzzed with a message from Bree. Checking in. "How are you holding up?" I typed back, "Better than yesterday." Then I added, "Something has to change." It felt like the first honest thing I had said about my family in years. The knock came just after 9 in the evening, hard, fast, and loud enough to shake the hinges. I froze halfway to the couch, a slice of reheated pizza cooling in my hand. Columbus Police Department. My breath hitched. I set the plate down, wiped my palms on my jeans, and looked through the peephole. 2 officers stood in the hallway. One was tall, steady, and older, Officer James Rowland. The other, younger, alert, with a softer expression, Officer Priya Patel. I opened the door with the chain still latched. "Can I help you, ma'am?" Rowland said. "We are here for a welfare check. Your father contacted dispatch with concerns about your safety." For a moment, I couldn't speak. My father. The words scraped out of me. Patel stepped forward slightly. "He reported that you have been isolating, not answering his calls, and might be at risk of harming yourself." A sharp, hot anger flared in my chest. "That is not true." Rowland exchanged a brief look with Patel. "May we come in for a quick wellness assessment?" I unlatched the chain and stepped aside. "Go ahead." They entered slowly. Patel glanced around work laptop open on the table, moving boxes half unpacked, a new set of keys on the counter. Everything ordinary, everything normal. Rowland nodded toward the kitchen. "Are you living here alone?" "Yes. Any recent medical issues, stress, trouble at work?" "None," I said. "I had a big week. I closed on my first house 3 days ago." Patel offered a small smile. "Congratulations. That is a huge deal." I exhaled. "Thank you." Rowland pulled out a small notepad. "Just to document, we need to confirm you are safe and not in any immediate danger." "I am fine," I said. "My father called because I changed the locks at my apartment." He did not like that. Patel's eyebrows lifted. "Changed the locks?" "Yes. I am setting boundaries. He does not respond well to boundaries." Rowland closed the notepad. His voice softened. "You seem perfectly stable. Eating, working, responding clearly. This check will be marked resolved." I nodded, but frustration burned through me. "He lied to you. He knows I am not a danger to myself." The officers didn't argue. "They didn't have to." Rowland took a slow breath. "I cannot speak to his motives, but I can tell you. Sometimes people misuse welfare checks when they feel they are losing control of someone." Patel added quietly. "Happens more often than most people think." Their words settled heavily between us. Not cruel, just honest. I walked them to the door. Rowland paused before stepping out. "If anything escalates or you feel unsafe, call us directly. Not him. Us. I will," I said. When the hallway fell silent again, I locked the new deadbolt. The click echoed through the apartment, steady and final, The pizza had gone cold on the counter, but I couldn't make myself eat it. I sank into the nearest chair, my pulse ticking in my throat. My father had not been worried about me. He had been worried about losing access to me. The difference cut deeper than I expected. I stared at my phone, its black screen reflecting the ceiling light. A line had been crossed tonight, and the ground beneath it was starting to crack. By Saturday morning, I felt steadier. Not calm, not healed, but steadier. I brewed coffee, opened the North Point Credit Union app out of habit, and scanned the dashboard. Then the screen froze in my hands. A new alert blinked at the top. Hard inquiry processed at North Point Upper Arlington branch. Auto loan in progress. $41,800. Vehicle Ford F-150 XLT. Primary applicant Kara Elise Whitman. Co-signer Douglas Whitman. My father. A ringing sound filled my ears, sharp enough to drown out the world around me. I clicked deeper. A scanned copy of the driver's license used for verification loaded slowly, pixel by pixel, until the photo came into focus. It was me, but not me now. It was the license I had lost 6 years earlier. I whispered, "You kept it." The words tasted like metal. I scrolled again, my social security number, my college address, my signature forged in shaky strokes that didn't resemble my handwriting at all. The delivery location listed my parents' house in Clintonville. Every detail told the same story. My father had walked into the bank pretending he had my permission, and he had done it comfortably, confidently, like it was his right. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't even pace. I just sat down at the table and dialed the fraud line. A man answered quickly. "North Point Credit Union. This is Mark Ellison. How can I help? My identity was used to open a loan." I said, my voice surprised me, controlled. "Even. Let me pull up your account." Mark replied, "Can you confirm your name and date of birth?" I did. He typed for several seconds. The clicks sharp through the speaker. "Yes. I see the application. It was submitted in person on Wednesday afternoon. I was at work that entire day. We can freeze the loan immediately," he said. "But for escalation, I need proof it was unauthorized. Any supporting documents or audio would help." "Audio." I stared at my phone, its blank screen waiting for direction. "I can get what you need." Mark's tone softened. "This is frightening, Ms. Whitman. But you are doing the right thing. I will email you the fraud packet. Once you submit it, we will investigate the impersonation formally." "Thank you," I said. After the call, I opened my laptop. The fraud packet arrived instantly. Affidavit, identity verification sheet, signature comparison request, incident timeline. It was overwhelming, but also a roadmap. A roadmap out. I inhaled slowly, then opened a new tab and checked my calendar for Wednesday. 3 back-to-back client meetings, email timestamps, location tracking, a paper trail proving I wasn't at North Point. Then I opened the voice recorder app. The red circle glowed at the bottom of the screen. If my father wanted to justify this the way he justified everything else, he would hand me a confession without even realizing it. My thumb hovered for a moment before I pressed record, not for the call, but for the promise behind it. Tonight, he would tell the truth. And this time, I would keep every word. I stared at my phone for a long moment before hitting the call button. My thumb hovered above the red record circle, the edge of it glowing faintly like a warning or a promise. I pressed record, then I pressed call. The line rang once, twice, 3 times. On the 4th, my father answered, voice loud enough to distort the speaker. "About time. I have been calling you all week." I kept my tone steady. "I need you to explain something. That is not how you start a conversation with your father." I repeated, "Explain the $41,800 truck loan opened in my name." Silence. A long, heavy one. Then an irritated breath. "Oh, that You are making it sound like a crime. It is a crime. Dad, he snorted. Please, stop being dramatic. We are building Tyler's credit. You have a real job now. You can handle it. You forged my signature. You are welcome, he said, as if I should be grateful. We are keeping it in the family. That is how families work. Families do not pretend to be each other at the bank. Behind him, I heard my mother's voice, low and shaky. Doug, maybe stay out of this, he snapped at her, then back to me. You changing the locks was childish. You did not even warn us. I do not need to warn you about my own front door. That attitude is exactly why you need guidance. I swallowed hard. Guidance. You filed for a loan without my consent. You are fine. Kara. You bought a house. What are you whining about? I am not whining. Yes, you are, he said, and you are embarrassing yourself. This is simple. Tyler needs a truck. You have the credit score. I gripped the phone tighter. You lied to the police to force your way back into my life. That welfare check was for your own good. No, I said. It was for your control. My father laughed the same laugh he used when dismissing anything that didn't benefit him. You are being ungrateful. After everything we did for you growing up, the words hit harder than he intended. Or maybe exactly as he intended. He continued, calmer now, as if convincing himself he will pay it back. You will not even notice the payments. Stop making trouble. This is a family matter. I ended the call before I said something I couldn't take back. The recording saved instantly. A small bar across the top that read, 23 seconds. I listened once. His voice was unmistakable, confident, entitled, completely certain he had done nothing wrong. I saved the file to the cloud, emailed it to myself, then stored it twice on my laptop. Every copy sat in neat, labeled folders. When I finished, I didn't shake. I didn't doubt. I didn't replay his words inside my head. I only thought one thing. This time, I wasn't the one who should be afraid of what came next. Mid-River Ford was crowded when I pulled into the lot that Saturday afternoon. Weekend buyers wandered between rows of trucks, voices carrying over the sales chatter. The Ford F-150 waited under the delivery awning, polished to a blinding shine. Tyler stood beside it, leaning against the front bumper as if it already belonged to him. He held his phone up, filming. New truck day, he announced to no one. About time. My father's SUV rolled in moments later. Douglas stepped out, smoothing his polo shirt, chin lifted like a man arriving to receive an award. My mother, Marjorie, hovered behind him, eyes darting around the lot. Aunt Lorraine appeared on her phone screen, FaceTiming from her kitchen, waving excitedly. Then they saw me. Douglas stiffened. Why are you here? Because this is my loan, I said. My name, my credit, my identity. Tyler groaned. You are not doing this right now. Seriously. I held up the folder. I printed every document North Point sent me. Your signatures. My forged signature. The outdated license you used. My mother stepped forward, forcing a shaky smile. Sweetheart, let us talk inside. No need to make a scene. This is where the scene happens. I said, right here. Douglas huffed. We said we would pay it back. You are blowing this out of proportion. North Point classified it as identity fraud. Tyler scoffed. God, Kara. It is a truck. Chill. I ignored him and opened the folder. Loan application. $41,800. Filed Wednesday afternoon while I was working across town. Douglas reached for the papers. You do not understand how these things work. I pulled them back. I understand perfectly. Lorraine shouted through the phone. Kara Elise, do not humiliate your father. I held up my phone and tapped the recording. My father's voice erupted from the speaker sharp, dismissive, unmistakable. We are building Tyler's credit. You have a real job now. Share the wealth. A man walking by stopped. A saleswoman turned her head. Silence thickened around us. Douglas's face flushed red. "Turn that off." "No," I said. Marjorie whispered, "Doug, say something." He straightened his shoulders. "This is a family matter. You had no right to record me. Ohio is a one-party consent state." I said I had every right. Before he could answer, a silver sedan pulled up near the delivery bay. A man in a navy blazer stepped out, carrying a briefcase. It was Mark Ellison. He approached with calm authority. "Ms. Whitman, Mr. Whitman, I am here from North Point to verify information before the vehicle is released." Douglas forced a smile. "There is no issue, just a misunderstanding." Mark opened his briefcase. "We just need original identification, signatures, confirmation that both applicants consented." He glanced at me. "Ms. Whitman, do you consent to the loan?" "I do not," I said. Mark nodded, then turned to Douglas. "And you," Douglas swallowed. "Of course I do." "That is not the question," Mark said. "This loan cannot be released without the primary applicant's approval. Ms. Whitman has officially disputed it." Tyler pushed off the truck. "You cannot do this." "I am not doing this," I said. "Dad did." Mark pulled out a comparison sheet. "We have mismatched signatures, an outdated ID, a timestamp conflict. We also received an audio statement from the primary applicant documenting lack of consent." Douglas stiffened. "You used that recording." "She set me up." Mark didn't blink. "She documented a fraud claim." A sales manager approached. "Is there a problem?" "Yes," Mark said. "The loan is suspended. The vehicle cannot be released." Tyler's face went blotchy red. "No, no, no, no. I announced it already. People are waiting for the video." Douglas grabbed his arm. "Son, calm down." "Do not tell me to calm down," Tyler yelled. People watched openly now. Phones lifted. Whispers spread. The sales manager stepped back. "We need to move the truck to the service bay." Tyler surged toward the driver's side door as if sheer will could change anything. A security guard intercepted him. "Sir, step aside." A tow truck backed up with hydraulic arms extended. Tyler stared at it, chest heaving. "You ruined everything," he said to me, voice cracking. "No," I said softly. "I stopped you from taking something that was never yours." Aunt Lorraine's FaceTime window froze in stunned silence. Douglas looked between us between the collapsing plan and the watching crowd, and for the first time, he had nothing to say. I turned and walked back to my car. The voices behind me blurred. But one thing stayed sharp. The power he used to hold over me no longer existed. And he knew it. The video from the dealership hit the internet faster than any of us could have imagined. By that evening, a coworker texted me a link with a single message. "Is this your family?" I tapped it. Tyler was screaming at the tow truck driver. Douglas was arguing with Mark. My voice played faintly in the background, steady and calm against the chaos. Comments flooded the screen. "Classic entitlement. She saved herself. Good for her. That kid is done." I set my phone face down on the table. I felt exposed, but not ashamed. 2 days later, North Point emailed me. "Judicial process initiated. Hearing scheduled, evidence accepted." I logged into the virtual courtroom from my dining table. My laptop camera stayed off, my microphone muted unless needed. The judge appeared first, her expression stern and impatient in a way that made me immediately trust her. Then the bank's attorney logged in, organized and calm. Finally, my father joined the feed blazer pressed, jaw set, eyes defiant. The judge began, "We are here regarding an identity fraud claim filed by Ms. Kara Whitman against Mr. Douglas Whitman, counsel. Proceed." North Point's attorney presented everything with surgical precision, the forged signature, my time-stamped emails from the day of the alleged application, the outdated ID copy, and the 23-second recording. The judge stopped the audio halfway through. "That is enough," she said. Douglas cleared his throat. "Your Honor, this is a misunderstanding inside a family. My daughter is exaggerating. This is not a family matter." The judge interrupted. "It is a fraud case. Answer the question. Did you open this loan with your daughter's consent?" He hesitated. "I intended to repay it. Tyler needs reliable transportation." That was not the question. He shifted uncomfortably. "Not exactly." The judge nodded once. Decisive. "Judgment for the plaintiff. Mr. Whitman, you are responsible for the full loan amount and all associated legal costs. North Point may place a lien on your assets until this is satisfied. Court is adjourned." The feed ended, but I stayed still long after my father disappeared from the screen. By the end of the week, his employer launched an internal review. A supervisor called me privately. "We were alerted to the court ruling," she said. "We take integrity very seriously." When I checked the neighborhood group forum that weekend, someone had posted a photo Douglas carrying a cardboard box across his office parking lot. No caption. It did not need one. Tyler dropped out of community college a month later. Word spread fast. "Whitman's kid is working nights at the distribution center," someone said at an open house. I pretended not to hear, but the words stuck anyway. My mother tried next. She came to my apartment building in the early evening, slipping a plain envelope under my door without knocking. Inside was a single sheet of paper. "Kara, we did not know what your father was doing. Please call. We need your help. Love, Mom." I placed the letter into my shredder and let the machine whir until nothing recognizable remained. Bree called that night. "How are you holding up? I am moving forward," I said, and I meant it. I moved into the house on a quiet Sunday morning, carrying the final box marked "New Start" up the front steps. The rooms felt different now, less like a structure I purchased and more like a life I chose. Bree arrived an hour later with takeout and 2 mismatched mugs. "Housewarming," she announced. "I figured you might need company." "I do," I admitted. We unpacked in slow, comfortable silence until she noticed the small brass object sitting on the counter. "Is that your old deadbolt?" I picked it up, feeling its weight in my palm. "The one I replaced the night my father asked for $40,000. I held it for a moment, then crossed to the living room wall and screwed it into place beside the new key hook. I want to remember where the line finally was. Bree tapped the metal lightly. "Then this is perfect." Later, after she left, I stepped outside with a wooden plaque I bought the day before. "Home Sweet Home" was carved across the front. I leveled it on the mailbox post and tightened the screws until it sat straight. A neighbor walking her dog paused. "New here." "Yes," I said. "Starting fresh." She smiled. Then, "Welcome." I watched her walk away, feeling the quiet settle around me clean, earned, unburdened. Inside, my phone rested dark on the table. No messages from my parents, no demands, no guilt hanging in the air, just space, and the certainty that I wasn't looking back. If you have ever built a life from the ground up, if you have ever redrawn the lines and dared to keep them, stay with me. There is more ahead, and none of it requires permission.